Hello guys, welcome back, and in this video we're gonna talk about Chu Nyangji, okay? So, she's very powerful, but let's go ahead and check everything, okay? Let's check like all the characters that get affected by it, the characters that are not too much affected, the characters that gain power and value and pull value and performance value and damage value from her release and her kit, and the characters that are dead on the floor, which are Eternity basically, and also Lilia, okay? First of all, before we begin, let's go check the her kit. By the way, if you have any question after the end of the video, you can either post a comment or come to my stream on twitch.tv/Jakazin and ask me there, because it's easier to explain if I'm live, right? So go there and ask me if you have any questions. That said, let's get into it. I'm gonna flashbang you in 3, 2, 1, boom. Now, this is the kit with the numbers. She's very powerful, but I don't think she's that powerful to make so there's no competition and it's like, okay, that's it. I'm not pulling anyone. I'm just waiting for Chu. I understand if people that think like this, but I think there is still an argument to be made for Kaalaa Baunaa worth, right? First of all, let's go check her kit. Bottoms up, single attack, you deal reality damage. If you have liquor, you consume the amount of liquor between 1 and 3. It's RNG, it's 20, 40, 40. And you do extra reality attack, that is an extra attack. Keep that in mind. It's not for each liquor consumed, you increase 60% reality damage, so this you get a bonus of up to 180%, but it doesn't go on the attack itself. It basically goes into the extra attack. So you do your attack and then you consume the liquor and you're gonna see a little minion attacking and dealing an X amount of attacks depending on how much liquor you consumed, and it's like more reality damage, okay, up to 180%. Now, S2, it's within my palms, which is the channel attack. It's a newer type of card that you want to use at the end of the AP. Once you're done with your turn, as the last card, mainly because after you start channeling, you cannot play anymore until it's over. And since you don't have an active usage of the card, you need to do it at the end. So that way you can do whatever you want, and then you finish with the channeling, and then at the start of the turn you get basically a free bottoms up to cast automatically. You cast automatically. The same way Kaalaa Baunaa casts one of the cards depending on the planet you consumed on I3 after you do the ult. So basically you gain some liquor, you gain some cheers, you enter the drunkenness status at the start of the turn. If drunkenness persists, you release the corresponding level of bottoms up on the enemy that has the lowest HP. You cannot choose this, it's like automatic. But this basically is 2 extra attacks in one singular card, and you're not even using AP because it's at the start of the turn. The fact that you are casting bottoms up is regarded as an extra attack, and bottoms up itself as the extra attack built in if you have enough liquor, which you will have because you also gain liquor when you cast the chant. Now, cheers, it's a balancing mechanic that they added. Basically makes it so when you have one or more, like any number of cheers, increase the consumption of liquor by 1, which could, if not enough, you consume all liquor. So let's say you have 2 cheers and now you're about to drink 3 liquors from bottoms up. If you have 2 cheers, you consume 5 liquors. Since you don't have 5 liquors, you're basically consuming everything you have and cheers goes away. No, but that's a mechanic that it's there. You don't like the cheers. The cheers is bad. So if there is a way to get less cheers, that's gonna be good, but there's not, I believe. Now, it's not even RNG, you just get the cheers. It's not RNG, you just get one or 2. Now, the ultimate, right? The ultimate is a mass attack. It deals 250% reality damage, but for each number of enemies less than 3, increase you 100% reality damage up to a maximum of 200, and it starts counting from 3. So if you have 3 enemies or plus, you do 350. If you have 2 enemies, you do 450. If you have 1 enemy, so it's like 1v1 a boss, now it's 550%. On top of that, if it's really hard to do, okay? So it's not. Do not think about this is easy to do. If you have more or 6 liquor, you consume the liquor and you get 100% penetration rate. If you don't have enough liquor, you don't get the penetration rate, but you get 2 cheers and 6 liquor. Now, 6 liquor is good, 2 cheers is not, which means that next time you're doing anything, it's going to be +2 liquor regardless. So up to a 5 liquor consumed immediately. So it's not cool, but it is what it is. Now, the portraits don't do too much besides P5 in my opinion, because like nothing crazy, right? So P1 increases the damage, so now you get to a maximum of 700% damage for one enemy, right? P2, when using buttons up, you get more damage, so this gets to, I mean, a little bit higher, to be honest. It gets up to 270% damage. The number of random buffs per turn from her insight increases to 2, which is the insight 3, right? So P3 makes it so your I3 gives you 2 buffs instead of 1 at the start of each turn. P4, the range of number of liquor consuming in bottoms up changes from 1 to 4. Probability consuming 1, 2, 3, 4 liquor is 5, 15, 40, 40. So nothing happens here. Still 80% of chance of consuming the maximum amount, almost, or the maximum amount of liquor, and 15% of getting 2 and 5% of getting 1. And now, depending on what you want to do and what your gameplay is and what your approach is, it's you don't really care if you get unlucky or not, because if you don't get unlucky, you get the 5. If you get lucky, you get 5 or 15, which also means less damage, right? But you have a liquor to maybe do the penetration rate a little bit easier. But if you get the maximum amount, now you don't get, probably not have enough for the penetration rate, but you deal maximum amount of damage, which is always good. On the P5, basically says the effect of the buff gains from insight release to increase to 25. After each turn, when there are 3 different buffs within all allies, gain 1 liquor to a maximum of 5, while before, this is an enhancement of her I1. The I1 says that when entering battle, you receive 3 liquor. When a turn ends, you receive a number of liquor according to any buffs allies have. For each 4 different kinds of buff among allies, increase 1 liquor to a maximum of 3. So P5 makes it so it's less the amount of buffs that you're counting, so it's easier to get a liquor, and the maximum amount is 5 instead of 3. That makes it so you gain more liquor easier, right? But that says that you need to have 4 or 3, if you have P5 still high, 3 different buffs within all allies. So you need to have a lot of buffs going on, right? All allies, I'm not sure if it's counting JIU. I don't see why not, but it would make it harder, so I think it counts JIU as well. So this is where we get into the value from other characters, right? In my opinion, the value for 37 and 6 is kind of skyrocketing now, especially 37, because like 6 always had a lot of value on itself, right? Like you kind of want to get 6 on everybody's team. But 37 was kind of neglected for a lot of people because of the clunkiness, and not the clunkiness, but like how hard it was to trigger the follow-up Genesis damage AoE that you wanted to get with her when you gain a maximum amount of Eureka, but you didn't have P5, right? Because like P3 and P5 makes her so she can easily gain 4 or 5 stacks in 2 seconds in 1 turn or 2, basically. But if you have P0 now, what, as a free-to-play, most people didn't want to pick her up because it was hard to do, and they were thinking about, okay, so we need, her I1 says that you need someone that does a follow-up attack, right? So is that a follow-up? Yeah, other allies follow-up action also grant a stack of Eureka. So it says follow-up. I was checking if it says extra attack instead. So the people were trying to adjust. People that really wanted to reset were saying like, oh, okay, I can get maybe Lilia and then crit with Lilia. So at least that's one. That's better than nothing. Like, oh, maybe try even trying to to add Miss New Babel into the equation. But like, you know why Miss New Babel is not that used, right? But that said, with JIU and with the amount of follow-up attacks that we are casting with bottoms up itself and the S2, the second incantation, which is within my palms, now 37 is getting a lot of value, right? So I wanted to show you a quick gameplay that I recorded just now that basically shows you this is my JIU is this one. I1 level 40 R0 P0, okay? And 37 is P5 I3, I believe. But I do not use any 37 cards. So what you're looking at is pure P0 simulation because I'm not using any cards. So let's see what I do here. I tried to reset because I didn't have the cards, and now I do have the cards. I get the channel up, but I don't use it now. I use the attack and then use the channel because you want to end up with the channel. So now we're doing the first follow-up attack. That's +1. This is the follow-up attack. +1 on, you can see it yet. Now you can see it. +1. And now we're channeling. Now we're drunk. As you can see here, if you're drunk also, there is also a visual indication, right? So if you are about to click the card and it didn't finish yet, it's going to tell you, look, you can't play after this, be careful, right? So that's a card that we can't do. So now, we get to the second turn. At the start of the turn 2, you automatically cast bottoms up, right? Because you're drunk. You cast bottoms up. Now we have 1 cheers. This one is the cheers, I believe. And so we're going to consume a bunch. So that was +1, and this is another +1. And we get the attack. Now, see that she has 3. So basically, by doing 2 cards, we got +3 on 37. 37 is not doing any card, right? So think about it. Now I was thinking that I wanted to get 1 more bottoms up if I could. I did. Getting bottoms up, finishing with the channel. Right? This is a consumes 2. I consumed 2. That's pretty good because now we can. We didn't consume all of our liquor, right? So we have enough. We're gonna get enough from the channel anyway. But in some cases, you don't really want to consume all of it. If you can, at least 1 stack will ensure another extra attack, right? So that's why I was like, oh, okay, cool. So now she has 4. And now we're drunk. And then at the start of the next turn, we're gonna have 5. Keep in mind that I'm not using any 37 card. If I did, she would have been on her second follow-up attack if I did. A P0, of course. Okay, start of the turn. We got the just from the casting of bottoms up, right? We triggered the follow-up. And of course the damage is ridiculous because it's P5, but you're not gonna deal the same damage, but it's gonna be the same gameplay, right? So now that was before the final one, because she got the 5th one on the bottoms up, and now bottoms up uses the liquor for the extra attack, and now she gained +1 already, right? So this is really important. Now we do the ult. I believe we do the ult. Maybe okay, I was trying to get more cards. We do the ult, we gain the liquor. We don't have 6, so sadly we're not gonna get the penetration rate, but I'm not dealing damage with her anyway. The ult is hilarious in my opinion. She tries to give you drinks, but she trips and like a pandemonium appears, like everything fucks up and she flies off. Okay, extra attacks. Drunk, +1 Eureka. Now we're gonna get +2 again. If she doesn't die. I don't think she does though. Right? So Eric appears and everyone is destroyed, like is silenced, which is annoying. This fight specifically, but disarm, that's not channel, so you can still do the channel. That's what I did. And also heal myself. Now we're getting more liquor, I guess. So yeah, you know how it looks, right? Wait, did I die here? Did I die here? Maybe I died. Oh yeah, I died here. I was like, what the fuck? Fuck off, right? Maybe you can hear it. Yeah. It's like a che cazzo, which in Italian means what the fuck? Fuck off, right? Oh come on, man! Like in an annoyed way. But what I wanted to show was shown, so that's fine. That's why I included it, because it's kind of funny, right? So the gist of it is 37 gains a lot of value from this. So all of the P0 37 free-to-play enjoyers, now if you somehow can have enough pulls to guarantee get yourself at least one copy of JIU, now that's gonna be a lot of fun, because as you can see, you can work with her very well, and I didn't cast any 37 cards, right? She's supposed to play the game, right? So if you do like one bottoms up, one channeling, and one 37 card, you're chilling, you're spamming like your P5 almost, right? If you think about it, especially like the triangulation and the ult is going to help you a lot, right? So keep that in mind, big value. On top of that, going back and checking like another character instead, for example 6. Why is 6 really good for JIU? 6 is really good for JIU because it's gonna make her I1 trigger in easier, right? Because you get more buffs from just the buff. On top of that, you also do empower incantation on whoever you want if you have 5 or more stacks of Eureka. So you keep that in mind. And then you select JIU, and now all of your cards are +1, right? So that's pretty good. Also, he has a really big pool of buff. So if you keep buffing with him, you end up with everybody having like 5 or more buffs easily, right? If that wasn't enough, the I3 itself for her, at least on JIU, is gonna give her these buffs. Now, some of these buffs might collide, might be the same. Incantation Might, for example, is the same as Incantation Might here, but he doesn't give you Ultimate Might, and he doesn't give you the others. So three of those two, Reality Death, Mental Death, but not General Death, not damage taken and not damage heal. So besides Incantation Might, you shouldn't worry too much on overlapping buffs, because she's gonna have 3 different buffs that 6 doesn't provide, at least on herself, right? Because it gives you Cure, Reflect, Reality, Mental Death, Incantation Might, and Penetration Rate. Now the Incantation Might, this is 50%, while this one is gonna be 20%. So if you happen to replace this one with the 15%, that's a bummer, but the overall value for 6 is insane. On top of that, on top of the buffs, he also applies the debuffs, and there's a lot of debuffs that he applies, and he also has the insane damage on his ult. So keep that in mind. If you want to pick up 6, it's gonna be a hell of a buffer for JIU, especially for everybody, but for JIU especially, right? So I think those 2 characters gained a lot of value. Now, let's go and address the elephant in the room, which is Kaalaa Baunaa. Now, is Kaalaa Baunaa getting Omega power crept by JIU or not? She is a little bit, but at the same time, I think there still is an argument to be made that makes it so it's still worth to pick up Kaalaa Baunaa, right? In my opinion, it is still worth, but as a free-to-play, it makes sense, and it becomes more of a 50-50, right? It becomes like different types of groups of players. One of free-to-play players saying like, oh, I skip her because JIU is coming, that makes sense. But you know what also makes sense? They're so far apart from each other. They're gonna be like 4 or 5 months from each other. I don't plan on picking up anyone, to be honest, besides maybe 6. So I'm confident that I can get 200 pulls, right? Or like less than 200 pulls. You don't need P1. I'm confident that I can get at least 140 pulls for JIU. So I am gonna pick up Kaalaa Baunaa now and then save until JIU, right? That makes sense as well. Because if you think about it, the only way she is completely power creeping everybody, especially Kaalaa Baunaa, is if we could do this 100 penetration rate all of the time, right? But 6 liquor is a lot. It's not that easy to gain, especially at P0. So if you're picking up just one copy of JIU, now it's not that easy to do the penetration rate, which makes Kaalaa Baunaa gain some value back, because now S plus rank or bosses that might be in the future very resistant to reality damage, now her being mental is going to help you a lot, right? You're going to completely bypass their limitation if you have another mineral DPS that has a different type of damage. It's basically the same concept as having Melania and Centurion, let's say. It doesn't make sense on paper, but on the long term, I feel like we'll eventually get to the point where everybody needs at least 2 different types of damage for every Afflatus eventually. I could see something like this coming in the future. For now, we don't really have to concern ourselves with that. You can even brute force anyway, and maybe take like 1, 2, or 3 more turns and still brute force it with the wrong quote-unquote type of damage. But I feel like there's also an argument to be made that says that Kaalaa Baunaa, at the end of the day, it's more simpler. It's less convoluted or less complicated or hard to sustain compared to JIU's kit. You just tune in, do your attacks, boom, get your planet, eat your planet with your ult. Which one was the most eaten one? Saturn? Okay, now you follow up with Enchanted Strike. That's it. You just do a lot of damage, right? And the percentage on the ult is way higher by default at P0. Compared to JIU, even JIU P0 is like less damage, and if you don't have enough liquor, you're not doing the penetration rate, so it's just less damage. That's it, right? You are gaining the liquor for later, so the damage is, I feel like overall is higher than Kaalaa Baunaa, but it's not that much higher that it makes you go like, oh shit, wait, well, I just wasted a character pool, right? Why did I pull for Kaalaa Baunaa? Oh my god, right? They're far away from each other, very far, so you could technically get both. For completely free-to-play players, maybe you want to skip if you plan on getting also 6, let's say, or someone in between the two, right? In that case, if you have Eternity is gonna get basically destroyed by JIU. There's no reason to use Eternity anymore after JIU comes, so she's gonna be far away though, keep that in mind. So, my voice is exploding at the moment, so I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you for watching. Hopefully that was clear enough. If it's not, leave a comment below, right? My time is over. I'm devolving back into a frog. So, thank you for watching. Let me know if you want to know anything. I'll be live on Twitch in a couple hours, so ask me stuff there, right? So thank you for watching and see you next time.